What's up, dude?
All right, guys. Let's see what 4.5 cylinders of Fury can do.
To it, yeah, burnout style.
So she's toast. So let's send her off in style. Baby.
Turn on, I want to see what it does.
All right, so we're going second gear now?
Yeah, we're gonna try a second.
All right, let's see what you got. All right, we got her in the shop, and let's get her out. Oh yeah, we never talked about that. I had like $20,000 worth of turbos and other things stolen from the shop a couple months ago. Pissed me off pretty good. Somebody actually stole the turbo off of this car, unbolted it, and took it away. And then another EFR turbo that was smaller, another cat turbo, some M50 manifolds, some S52 low compression pistons, just a bunch of stuff, some GTR parts. So now we have security.
And this is Nat. Unrelated, but he's here now and hanging out.
It happens.
Yep.
So let's get her out. All right. I might have talked about going to New Mexico in one of the earlier videos. That was supposed to happen tomorrow. I was supposed to get a car for our buddy Nat and get a new Discovery for Joel. Both those people started ghosting Nat and Joel. So we're not going. So we got an extra day. I was gonna try and get this out tonight and rip it apart, but I'm gonna go visit Zach. He's struggling, and we got a flip car together that we've not flipped and just held on to forever. So we're gonna go work on that. But I'll see you tomorrow, which is right now.
All right, guys, next day. I got in here a little before Hamish and just been doing little stuff.
So I got fuel disconnected. I started getting ECU out. I'm thinking I'm going more towards it's an arcade tunes thing. It's got like plugs coming out of it. It had two. Apparently the other one just pulled out of it. Either way, yeah, we're making moves, getting her torn apart. We'll probably do like a small time lapse of it actually lifting out of the thing. But besides that, I don't think there's anything too interesting on this. But after we get that out, I figured let's talk about turbo e36s and which ones are around here and plans for ones and stuff, because it might get a little confusing with everything that's going on.
Because there's like 4, and then there's people's that aren't ours.
Yep. So we'll just talk about that. So enjoy the time lapse. What's up? It's outside. It's degreasing time. It's about to be really satisfying.
Hopefully it looks all good.
Dude, look at it. Already it looks great.
Yeah?
So I've never done this on any car I've ever owned before. I've never power washed the engine bay. So, you know, we're all doing new things here in 2021. Oh, it's hot. Feeling like my boy Tommy Effie out here. Like I even covered up the power steering line so it wouldn't get water in there. I'm adulting pretty good right now.
You're taking care of business.
Alright guys, quick break here in the middle of the video to do a little explaining for you new people. Turbo E36s. There's quite a few of them, and they're in our little circle, so there might be some confusion there. So, the first one was this car, the white shitbox. I bought this from a friend of Will's in 2018, middle of the summer, end of the summer, sometime in there. And that car was originally an M52 B28 with a Borg-Warner SX366. We didn't really know a whole lot about it, but it was fast and it was fun. We tore that car apart to build our first channel car, like the first thing we ever filmed on the channel, which was a Roadkill E34. Anyway, then the next one that probably was ever seen on the channel was Jason's E36 M3 Estral Coupe. He's been building that car for over 5 years. He made over 1,000 horsepower last year, the last time, and then that was the end of his 5-year build. Like the engine let go, he had a wrist pin failure. Him and I are building engines side by side, which on a side note, we just got a call from the machine shop today. The blocks are done, so we're gonna hopefully go pick up those tomorrow and start the engine build. But that's his Estral Coupe, and I am building an Estral sedan that has never been turbocharged, but we will have very similar, if not identical, setups in those cars when they're complete. That was what that last video was, with me sitting in a similar place talking about it. The other Turbo E36 was a 95 M3. It was black, and that's where I got the EFR Borg-Warner 8374 that was stolen. Fuck thieves. That car was originally built by a friend of Sean's, Shogun, the guy we used to go to the dyno all the time, and it never made a bunch of power. He was a very conservative person, kind of got talked into the whole turbo build and never pushed it. We pushed it. It was a 300,000 mile S50, and it blew up the second day. Sean has been known for a little bit of aggressive timing, and maybe that wasn't the engine to be aggressive with. Either way, it died. Those are the Turbo E36s that have been around, and those were all of the parts have come from and going between. I will be putting the engine from the black Turbo E36 M3. It's on a stand. The engine going back into this car on a stand, and the engine that came out of this car on a stand. All three side by side right now. You can see them, and we'll see where we're gonna go with this combination of parts. But just quick reference of the Turbo E36s on this channel, where they came from, who owns them, where they're at now. That black M3 that I blew up, I stripped everything off of it that I wanted, sold the shell to Jason's little brother, not little brother, his older brother, but Jerry's shorter than Jason, it's confusing. We're back to it. I appreciate you guys watching that, and let's check out some carnage. You saw that burnout where it just caught on fire and there was oil everywhere. Look at how clean it is. It's never been this clean. I've never done this to a car in my life.
Dude, you can touch it over here, but only over here.
It's like so smooth. Yeah. This is all sound deadening that caught on fire and kind of is very gooey and gross. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna get, not sound, probably heat, whatever you want to call that, foil stuff. I'm just gonna get more of it and just put it over that stuff, and we'll just start over fresh. All right, so we got some motors. Engine out of white E36. Engine out of black E36 M3 turbo. Locked up bad. Engine out of 97 E39 528. Completely bone stock, but nicely maintained M52 B28. So same block that's in there. What we are going to be doing, taking some parts from this engine, taking some parts from this engine, making this engine awesome. Put back into that. The plan is to leave the rotating assembly completely alone. Is that smart?
You're gonna change ring gaps, that's about it.
We're gonna change the ring gaps. The only thing that's gonna change our mind on that is if we look in this and
either the rods are totally fucked or they're not stock, or the pistons aren't stock. Anything that's not stock in here, we're gonna do into here. Not from this engine, but we'll buy replacement parts. I have some Eagle rods for these engines. I think they're 100, what are the millimeter rods?
135.
I was gonna say 135. I'm learning things.
Jason, you might as well just get in here at this point, man.
I'm supplementing knowledge.
But either way, I'm gonna try and do most of this, but Jason and I had a deal. He was gonna build me an engine. I just want to be a part of it though. So yeah. So today is tear this one down and just see where we're at. I just thought I'd pull these two out so we can see. Big thing on this that we're moving over. This has the entire S54 oiling. So a dual sump pan, oil filter housing with built-in provisions for oil cooler. This one had a Mishimoto one. John at VI is telling me not to use it because of how much metal went through this engine, and I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. That car loves metal in the oil, so probably still gonna use it.
We can rinse it out.
But this has 1500cc Snake Eater, I think, injectors. They seem pretty solid. This one has a nice Rally Road fuel rail, so it's like combined. You know, this one has a pretty cool welded throttle body. I'm gonna use this. This intake manifold was tapped well. Theron did a pretty good job, but at like middle boost, 15-ish pounds, it started blowing out the fittings he put in. This one never had problems at 30 psi. I want to use this one. So between the two, this has a lot of silicone hoses. We're gonna move those over. This had, instead of a silicone hose here, this had an E39. You can see is a different one. If you guys didn't know this, I found this out. E39s have a longer neck than E36s. So, and then late E36s had plastic ones, anyway, which suck. But with the way this one was set up, is it was a long neck, silicone coupler, metal hard pipe 90 to another silicone coupler. So on this is the hot side, right? There was like no rubber hose at all, or silicone hose. It was just a couple couplers. So I was like, that was a smart idea.
Yeah.
Everything that I don't use that's off of this engine, including the ECU and intake manifold and all this other stuff, is gonna go into another car that we haven't really talked about yet. It's gonna get an S52 turbo. So it will all be reused. So I don't have anything to sell you.
We lost
That one?
Yeah, that's gonna go one.
we lost power at the shop, so
8352.
this is now a midnight skill tested in the dark engine disassembly.
Yep.
Chris is on the phone with the power company now, figuring it out, but it's good. What happened?
Apparently an overhead circuit breaker is damaged. So they are the 1700 whatever houses, residents, or whatever are down right here.
Tap it up here too. Pull it right off.
You think it's loose?
Oh yeah.
All right.
There she goes.
And I reveal. Oh, that's not that bad.
Well, that one's pretty hurt. The rest are a little wet.
Yeah, you're missing part of a piston. A couple parts of a piston. That's pretty bad right there.
They are stock pistons though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that gave up the goose.
Looks like your valves were hitting your exhaust, where your exhaust valves were hitting the piston.
Why would they have ever hit?
Valve float.
Yeah, just beating the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
All right, see if they all come to the top.
Yeah.
Those look okay.
Yeah.
Those look okay. Maybe it doesn't have any bent rods.
The 6 is definitely lower.
You think? I think they're the same.
Maybe not.
I mean, not as bad as it could have looked. That really isn't that bad.
I was expecting a little
This
bit more
thing's totally
capacity.
savable with just like a couple pistons. So it's really not that bad in here. And these are definitely stock pistons. So I'm also guessing it has stock rods. So we're gonna cut it off there. I'm probably gonna tear this down a little more. If I find anything that says it's not stock, I'll let you know. If not, we're just gonna assume it was a stock engine and we'll go forward. If it turns out this is not stock, we're gonna have to rethink that engine. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for more Tinky Winky stuff.